You're watching TSN, the Sports Network, your #1 source for sport news.
Here it is, the first pitch in Blue Jay history. It's a strike with a fastball. There's a drive to George Bell. He's got to come in. He's there. He's got it. The Blue Jays have won it. The Jays have won it. They've won the Eastern Division Championship. How about those Toronto? This could do it. Here's Panetta pouncing on it, underhanding it to Evans, and the Tigers win the American East. The Jays have collapsed to 7 straight losses.
They were 10 back. Now they're a strike away from clinching. The 1-2 pitch. The Toronto Blue Jays are Oakland bound.
Winning run on third. Base hit. Blue Jays win the East. Let the celebration begin.
Nixon bunts. Kimlin on it. Throws to first. For the first time in history, the World Championship banner will fly north of the border. The Toronto Blue Jays are baseball's best in 1992.
Baseball Tonight presents 16 Years to Glory. Here's your host, Paul Romanek.
And we are live from the Sky Dome. Make them laugh, make them cry, make them wait. That's an old show business adage, and it certainly held true for this year's edition of the Toronto Blue Jays. They made everyone wait extra innings, but they finally did it. They had the gorilla off their backs. The Toronto Blue Jays are finally world champions. What a spectacular game. I don't have to replay it all to you because you were likely watching it. Just an incredible game covering this entire series. In this game for TSN, Buck Martinez, he is standing by in Atlanta. And with him, Toronto Blue Jays pitcher Jimmy Key. Buck?
Jimmy Key, 2 wins in the World Series. This has got to be the greatest win.
That was awesome, but I had a weak at bat. I should have got a hit on that at bat. That's brutal. But, oh, man, I can't believe it. We won it twice tonight. And it's ironic that Otis made the last out after he got the hit to tie it up, so that was that much better.
The emotion had to be tremendous in the dugout.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. You know, I just got in there because I just got taken out. They told me to get up there on the top step. We're fixing to run out on the field. I said, oh, yeah, that's right. We only need 1 out. So I had to get back out there, and then Mike made a great play on the ball. Nice fun. Thank you. Way to go, Jimmy.
Yeah, we did it. Way to go, Hank. I tell you what, Jake, nothing like emotions in this one, huh?
Oh, Buck, I tell you what. They bent me, but I didn't break, by golly.
Your bullpen's been outstanding through the whole series.
They're a class bunch, these guys over here. They don't give up, man. I'll tell you what. I'm glad to get it over with.
Tom, you've been here since '85, and this has got to be the moment you've been waiting for.
Oh, this is something I've always dreamed of. I think everybody dreams of when they're that high. I'd like to nail it down, but we won, so that's the main thing.
Nice score.
Thanks, Buck.
Congratulations, David. I tell you one thing, you had the stuff tonight. This is a good Braves ball club, but you guys battled the whole night.
They're amazing. You just can never rest easy with them. They added some years to my life tonight.
David, you've had a lot of good times. It doesn't get any better than this.
No, I've never been so nervous in my life. Even Game 6 of the playoffs with the Mets, and we're backs are against the wall. This takes the cake.
Yes, what more can this ball club do, huh? How about this guy, Joe Carter?
Oh, man, hey.
You guys said you're going to do it the whole time.
Oh, we did it the hard way, baby. We came back the whole year, and I mean, you couldn't ask for a better scenario. Extra innings, and Big Dave coming through with minute scrums. This one, so many guys out there. Tony did a great job. Hey, this is great.
Nice fun, guys.
All right.
Hey, David. Nice fun, David.
Obviously, Buck Martinez right on the field to capture all of the emotion as soon as the game ended. Here at the Sky Dome, it was absolutely incredible. I've never seen anything so amazing in my life. 45,000 people packed into this building and cheering as though there were a live game taking place. They were watching it up in the big Jumbotron screen, and they flooded onto the field after the game was over again, almost as though it had been played right before their eyes, live and on the field. You know, hearing from some of the participants in the series, you think about the pitchers. Certainly the pitchers dominated this series, both teams combining for a batting average of about 204 heading into this game. The pitchers were the dominating factor. The hitters never really did get on track, save for one really big inning that the Atlanta Braves managed to have in the last game, and that propelled them to victory, keeping the series alive, of course, and sending it back to Atlanta. But the pitchers did just an absolutely amazing job. You think of the job Jimmy Key did for the Toronto Blue Jays heading into this game. I mean, Jimmy Key, here's a guy who was by far their best pitcher down the stretch run, and the fans were cheering and cheering when Key came into the game, knowing that he may well have been pitching his last game as a Toronto Blue Jay. He did a fantastic job closing things out in the Skydome when he finally did get a postseason start. And as the celebrations continue on the field, people pouring outside of the Skydome and out into the streets of Toronto, the party is on all across the country, and we will be going all across the country to cover the national celebration, the Blue Jays 1992 World Series champions. Let's start our coverage off with Vic Rudder, who is standing by in the heart of downtown Toronto. Vic?
Well, thank you very much, and you can get an idea of just what it's like here, Paul. It was a very somber 10th inning and also the 11th until it finally exploded, and it has exploded now into this. New Year's has come early to Toronto.
All right, Vic Rudder being left a little bit in the dark there as everyone crowded around, just as the Atlanta Braves fans must feel right about now. I mean, how do you think they feel? Sure, the Toronto Blue Jays have had to wait a while. It took them a few cracks before they finally made it to the World Series, but the Braves have been there 2 years in a row and not been able to put it away, and Bobby Cox has been at the helm for both of those years. Bobby Cox in pretty good company for managers who have lost 2 years in a row in the World Series. A couple who popped to mind right off the top of my head. Tommy Lasorda would be one, Sparky Anderson would be another. But you have to feel for Bobby Cox, although I'm sure in his heart he feels a little bit of pride in the Toronto Blue Jays organization. He was an architect of getting this organization and this winning team together. The celebration is on. The Toronto Blue Jays 1992 World Series champions, and we will continue on this special edition of Baseball Tonight in a moment.
Baseball Tonight, 16 Years to Glory, brought to you by Labatt Blue. Honest and true. You bet it's blue. By Diet Pepsi. You've got the right one, baby. Uh-huh. By CIBC, Bank of the World Champions. And by Mazda. It just feels right.
For years, and they've never forgotten where they're from. For all the blues has brought to music, Labatt Blue has brought to this country's beer. Honest and true, you bet it's blue.
You know, there's real magic in Diet Pepsi. It's got that special aha ingredient.
The right one, baby. Hey.
Okay, girls. Now, what's that magic ingredient?
With 100% uh-huh.
Eva, bank? Just the size of them. My bank doesn't even know I'm alive.
But that's your bank. We're changing.
Oh, sure.
Really?
Okay, give me one simple example.
Today, we have literally dozens of products and services. Like a Visa card that earns you Aeroplan miles. Or we'll even have people come to your home to help plan your retirement.
What are you doing?
You can even do your banking from your living room at midnight. My job didn't even exist a while ago. I'm what we call a personal banker. I have a lot of customers that I meet with one-on-one. Which is the best bank? It's probably the bank that remembers everyone's different and treats them that way.
I said, don't get Eva started, but no.
We're changing. We're CIBC. Get us working for you.
April the 7th in 1977, Big League Baseball comes to Toronto as the Blue Jays begin their inaugural season at snowy Exhibition Stadium. The first pitch from Bill Singer, a strike, and that was a great omen. A rookie first baseman named Doug Alt wrote his name prominently into Blue Jays history by swatting the team's first home run.
Front field, hard hit ball, power alley, left center field, home run!
Alt hit 2 home runs that day and led Toronto to an 8-5 win. Managed by Roy Hartsfield, the Jays went 54 and 107 that year, but they drew over 1.7 million fans. The process of building a champion had started. Let's go now back to Buck Martinez. He is in Atlanta. He was on the field talking to players as soon as the game was over. Buck?
Candy Maldonado, another big hit for you tonight. Well, I just think, guys, you know, like you saw me yesterday working with Larry, taking some SWP, we stay there, we work, and it was one big hit, you know, they came in the right time, and I just thank the Lord that, you know, I had the opportunity again to do something, you know, and it was a great series, you know. You have to give a lot of credit to the Braves, you know, they play us tough in this type of game, and I was more disappointed in that throw to home plate. You know, I hesitated a little bit, and the grass was wet, but thank God the guys, you know, picked me up. And
you had a little emotion going, I'm sure, trying to throw that runner out at the plate.
Oh, yes, I did. You know, I hesitated a little bit. I wanted so bad, and then, you know, the ball just slipped out of my hands. And I guess, you know, this was destiny. You know, that was supposed to be. I was playing for winning. I said, yeah, you know, just give him a hit. Even if I go for whatever, you know, as long as we get the lead, we can win the game.
What about Cito Gaston? I know you pay a lot.
That's my dad. Don't worry, that's my dad. He's the man. If it wasn't for him, I would have been here. You know, I love him. I love him. And I'm sure now everybody loves him, too. They can see the kind of manager he is. He deserves this.
You guys are champions, #1.
We're #1.
It really was Canada's team in this series in the truest sense of the word. Lots of Canadian flags in the field being waved by fans at the games. But we do come back to Toronto right now and put our focus into the heart of this city where the party is carrying on. Here's Vic Rauter.
Well, Paul, with a little help from our friends, we've got a bit of a party going on here in downtown Toronto. It has come to a complete standstill here on Yonge Street between Carlton, where Maple Leaf Gardens is to the north of us, and really the downtown core, which is south of Gerrard towards Dundas, Queen, and the Eaton Center. Now, the early estimate was upwards of around 200,000 people. Now, one policeman says it has topped 300,000, maybe getting closer to 400,000 people. And so far, that has been all in very good fun. Yeah, the party has begun. The World Series champions, the Toronto Blue Jays. Paul?
One guy in the thick of all the action, however, is Buck Martinez. He is in Atlanta covering the series for us. Buck is in the dressing room talking to a few players, and I understand standing by with Buck Martinez is Kelly Gruber. Buck?
Kelly, there was the emotions on the field when you guys pulled it off. Unbelievable. I did a backflip, that one. Unbelievable. I just wish that you would get a ring. I wish that Willie would get a ring. I wish that Lloyd would get a ring. Jesse, George, Tony, Ernie, you name it. All the guys are on the ice. I really wish they'd get the same thing we did.
Kelly, you guys showed nothing but character throughout this series.
It was a tough year, and I knew if I could stick with it and try to handle it right, the way that I was getting, I knew it would bring some character. I knew that it would cause some good things to happen, and I'm really proud of it.
What about the way everybody contributed in this World Series?
Whoever gets the MVP, which I think Pat Borders should, I think everybody deserves it. Everybody had a say-so somewhere along the way. And that's what makes the championship team, and that's what we are. We're #1, Toronto. #1. World champ!
So the Toronto Blue Jays win the game by a score of 4-3. They take the World Series by a margin of 4-2. Lots more still to come in this special edition of baseball tonight. 16 years to glory. 16 years to a World Series title for the Toronto Blue Jays. We'll be right back. The beginning of a new decade saw the Jays make their first managerial change. Bobby Maddock was hired to replace Roy Hartsfield. Trades brought new faces Damaso Garcia, Barry Bonnell, and Joey McLaughlin into Toronto. Garcia was installed as the everyday second baseman. He meshed with Alfredo Griffin, and the two formed a pretty nifty double play combination. John Maybury set a team record with 30 home runs that year. And Otto Velez thrilled the hometown fans with a 4-home run, 10 RBI performance in a doubleheader sweep over Cleveland. The Jays finished with their best record to date, 67 wins and 95 losses. A long way from the World Series, but still, you could feel the best was yet to come.
You know, Diet Pepsi's now for everyone. That's right, Ray. Meet my twin brother, Irv.
And our twins, the Irvettes.
With caffeine-free Diet Pepsi, I get all that great taste, but with no caffeine. Sing it, brother. You got the right one, baby. Irresistible, unresistibly tasteable, and caffeine-free. You got the right one, baby. Hey.
100% The 92 Masters are disappearing fast. Now get automatic transmission or equivalent credit on quality 92s, like the sleek MX-5 Miata, the enormously spacious MPV, the frisky, fun-loving 323, the surprising Protege, and a whole herd of Mazda trucks. So this great offer backed by the Mazda Leadership Warranty, save them before they're gone for good.
1985, a special year. It was that year that will always be remembered fondly by the Blue Jays fans. The Jays made 2 big trades, dealing Alfredo Griffin and Dave Collins to Oakland for Bill Cottle, while sending Jim Gott and 2 minor leaguers to San Francisco for Gary Lavelle. That allowed Dennis Lamb to stay in the middle relief, and he responded with a sparkling 11-0 record. Jimmy Key was moved from the bullpen to the starting rotation, where he posted 14 wins against only 6 losses. Perhaps the biggest surprise came from AAA Syracuse, where a little-known pitcher named Tom Henke made the best of his call-up, going 3-3 with 13 saves. That brings us to Saturday, October the 5th, and we all remember this moment.
There's a drive to George Bell. He's got to come in. He's there. He's got it. The Blue Jays have won it.
The Blue Jays won the AL East in just their 9th season. From there, it was on to the ALCS, where they jumped out to a 3-1 lead over the Royals, only to see the Royals storm back to win 3 straight. Toronto took a big step in 1985, though, falling just 1 win away from the World Series. So the celebration on in the Sky Dome as soon as the game ended. Folks pouring out onto the field, fireworks exploding overhead. It wasn't like 1985 at all. And then the celebration taking its natural progression, which was onto the field. And after it was on the field for a while, the celebration carrying on outdoors and up Yonge Street, where the revelers continue to celebrate in the heart of downtown Toronto. The first Canadian-based team ever to win a World Series championship, the 1992 edition of the Toronto Blue Jays. And the game was broadcast live at the Sky Dome up on the large television they have here, the Jumbotron. 45,000 people were packed into the Sky Dome to watch it. Everybody getting together to watch TV. This was the largest living room in the nation, I guess, for one night. And there were a couple of funny things that happened. Obviously, there were huge cheers when Dave Winfield got the key hit, and when Jimmy Key came on to pitch, and when Pat Borders was named as the series MVP. But one of the biggest cheers of the night went up in the 10th inning when there was a shot of Jeff Reardon, the Atlanta reliever, the beleaguered Atlanta reliever, getting up to warm in the bullpen. Reardon, of course, had been knocked around by the Toronto Blue Jays in games 2 and 3 of this series. He took the loss in one of those games, gave up the game-winning RBI in another game. They showed Reardon warming in the bullpen. Huge, massive cheer went up, people hoping that the Atlanta Braves would bring him in. They never did, but it turned out not to be necessary from a Toronto point of view. Buck Martinez is down in Atlanta. He's had a chance to talk to a number of players. He was on the field to get reaction immediately upon the ending of the game. He is in the dressing room with Pat Borders, the series MVP. What a series he had.
Last year you were fighting for playing time. This year you played every day more than any catcher in the American League, and you're ending up the MVP of the World Series. You've come a long ways, kiddo.
Well, I appreciate that, but you know, it's a shame that people like Devon White with the game-saving catch in Toronto, Dave Winfield with his game-winning hit tonight and his leadership through the whole year, Jack Morris with his leadership through the whole year, Kelly Dubras and clutch home runs, Maldonado. There's so many people deserve that. You know, it's a shame they'd even give it to one person.
What about the balance of the attack? Again tonight, it really showed up.
all the way through the lineup, we got guys that can, you know, go get the home runs and, you know, hit the extra base hits all the way down to Manny Lee. You know, it's a great hitting lineup, a great defensive lineup, and our pitching depth is unbelievable right now.
You shot down Otis Nixon on a curveball. Tell us about that throw.
Well, David gave me, you got to give credit to David. He gave me plenty of time to throw him out. And all I was trying to do is get it down there in the air, not let him get to third base.
What about your hitting in this series? You really must have been swinging, seen the ball, everything working right for you at the plate. You swung a hot bat all series long.
Well, you know, you go into the streaks just like throwing bat at second base. You get to the hitting streaks where everything seems to go your way. You know, a couple feet either way, I don't get any hits at all. So I got to look at it that way.
What about the emotions? You had to be on a high, and then Otis Nixon hits that ball in through left field. Your heart had to fall to the bottom of your shoes right then.
It did. That was a scary time because we're at their crowd's really pumping them up. You start hearing it in the later innings especially. They got real loud, and it's definitely to their advantage.
What did you think when Devo got hit and then Robbie came through with a base hit? All of a sudden, you had the heart of your order right where you wanted them.
I liked our odds at that point. Joe Carter and Dave Winfield, they were definitely due for a big hit. Joe just missed hitting a home run, and Winfield stayed back well, and I believe it was a 3-2 changeup, and hit it for a double, scored a couple runs, which we both needed both of them.
Well, you got a lot of time to enjoy being world champs. Congratulations.
Thank you, Buck.
An absolutely tremendous moment for everybody involved with the Toronto Blue Jays organization, no doubt. But just to put a bit of a bittersweet slant on things, you have to feel for Dave Stieb, Toronto Blue Jays pitcher, the winningest pitcher in the history of the franchise. What great contributions he's made to this organization over the course of his career. But Stieb on the sidelines, on the DL because of an injury, not able to participate in the biggest series ever for the team. He's with Buck Martinez.
Here's a couple of old-time Blue Jays that got to be enjoying this day. Long time coming, huh, Dave Stieb?
Very long, Buck. You know, we were waiting for this day 4 or 5 days ago, and it's finally come, and I'm almost speechless. It's just, it was just numb, running out there and falling down, getting piled on, just numb, just trying to take it all in that we really did win it.
Alfredo, it's kind of fitting that you were on the field when it was all over with.
Yes, it feels good because at least I do something. I make an error, but
that's okay.
We win it. I don't care. So, I feel part of the team. That's great. You know, I'm really happy for me to win a World Series here with Toronto, a team that gave me the opportunity to play in the big league.
You have some deep roots with this organization. This has got to be a tremendous feeling for you.
Oh, yes. I worked my tail off this year. Great. You know, it worth it.
All right. Congratulations, Alfredo.
Thank you.
And from Atlanta, we take you to Vancouver. David Pratt is standing by. And David, I'm wondering how the celebration that's on right now compares to the enthusiasm shown for the Vancouver Canucks during their playoff run.
This is bigger and better than anything I've ever seen in this market. And it's interesting what's going on right now is that even though it's a little crazy here, what is also going on is the same type of thing that's going on in Toronto, where a lot of people are starting to spill out into the streets. And I don't know if you can hear much of this, but it's bigger and better than anything else that we've seen in this city, and I think it's bigger and better than anything else we've seen in this country.
All right, thanks a lot, David. Try to stay out of trouble. Lots going on in Vancouver and lots going on all across the country. And we're going next, I'm told, now back to Atlanta. Joe Carter is among the celebrants in the Toronto Blue Jays dressing room. He is standing by. Buck Martinez is down there. Rod Smith is also down there covering for TSN.
What was going through your mind when you caught it? You know, I had the premonition for a long time that I was going to make the last out. I said, I'm playing first base. I said, the last out, I was just going to be in my glove, and I wasn't going to get the ball up. Timlin talked me out of it, but I said, hey, you deserved it. You went out there and got the big out when we had to. And you gave him the ball. Yeah, I gave him the ball. I mean, Otis stepped on my feet at first base, but, I mean, to catch the ball and know we're world champions, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, I thank God because, you know, we battled the whole year long, and this is what baseball is all about.
Joe, when you first got traded from San Diego, you must have been wondering what you're getting into. It must make things so worthwhile.
Well, I knew what I was getting into. I knew we had a great ball club in Toronto, had some great teams, and I knew I would have a chance very soon to play for a world championship team. And, you know, the first year, the All-Star game, the playoffs, and now a little bit further, you know, another All-Star game, playoffs, and now the World Series, and we're champs. I mean, this is what it's all about. I was very happy and I did get a chance to play in Toronto, and hey, this makes it all worthwhile.
What does it mean for Canada and Toronto to win it for those people, the whole country there?
And, I mean,
and to be the first champion.
They feel as good as we feel right now. I mean, we're going to enjoy this together. I mean, they were our 10th man. You know, the Prime Minister, Dave Winfield, he went out there. He got the fans pumped up. The second half of the season, they came through for us. I'm kind of upset we didn't win it at home to celebrate in front of the fans. But, I mean, it's going to be some great day tomorrow in Canada when we get back on that airplane. I mean, this is exciting. I was drained out there. By the third inning, I was completely exhausted. It's like you had nothing left, but we never gave up. And, hey, we're going to have a great time. I'm going to cherish this for the rest of my life.
Joe, is it fitting Dave Winfield drove it in?
Yeah, it was fitting. I mean, the guy, you know, he had the label in October, what was Steinberg to put on him, and it wasn't right. You know, he hadn't had the extra base hit. We left a lot of guys on base, but he came through. I said, Big Dave's going to do it. 3-2. He comes through with a big hit down the left field, down the third base line. Double. I mean, 2-run score. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Congratulations.
All right.
All right, Rod Smith and Buck Martinez down in Atlanta. We'll have more reaction from the Blue Jays locker room and the celebration a little bit later on as well, as more reaction from all across Canada as our cross-country celebration tour continues in TSN. Great to have you along for the ride. Bobby Cox returned to Atlanta, and the Toronto Blue Jays promoted third base coach Jimmy Williams to the post of manager. Jesse Barfield and George Bell each drove in 108 runs. Barfield set a team record. He had 40 home runs. Tony Fernandez played every game at shortstop. He hit .310. Both Barfield and Fernandez were rewarded for their fielding prowess by collecting Gold Gloves that year. The big pitching surprise came from Mark Eichhorn, a rookie reliever. He finished 14-6 and had 10 saves with a stingy 1.72 ERA. In July of that year, Toronto traded pitcher Doyle Alexander for young pitching prospect Dwayne Ward. The Blue Jays won 86 games, but in a competitive AL East, that was only good enough for fourth place.
At Mazda, we went beyond technology and relied on human thoughts, feelings, and emotions to create the new 1993 Mazdas. Maybe that's why more and more people have become aware of Mazda, and why every Mazda just feels right.
Labatt Genuine Draft. It isn't heat pasteurized like most other beers. It's cold filtered, clean and smooth. New cold filtered Labatt Genuine Draft.
Rocket Fuel.
Play Rocket Fuel Touchdown, and you could win up to $25,000.
1987, and the Jays were back in the thick of a great pennant race that came down to the last day of the season. The Jays led Detroit with 8 games to go, but Kirk Gibson homered off of Tom Henke as the Tigers rallied to a win, cutting the lead to 3.5. 3 losses at home against Milwaukee sent the Jays into Detroit with 3 games left and a 1-game lead. The Tigers swept the series, winning the final game 1-0 on a home run by Larry Herndon. Despite the second-place finish, the Jays did have a great year, drawing an American League record 2.8 million fans in the process. In the area of personal achievement, lots to talk about. George Bell, the American League MVP. He hit .308 with 47 home runs and 134 RBIs. Jimmy Key, 17-6. He finished second in Cy Young voting to Roger Clemens. And Tom Henke, the Terminator. He led the American League in saves with 34. Toronto also set a league record on September the 14th when they hit 10 home runs, 3 from Ernie Witt against Baltimore on the way to an 18-3 win. I'm Paul Romanek at the Sky Dome, where things are starting to clear out. Buck Martinez is standing by live in Atlanta. And Buck, I have to say, I know you're a journalist now. I know you're a former player and a reporter, but boy, it looked from some of the interviews I've seen you do so far as though you're reveling in this victory almost as much as some of the players.
Well, you know, Paul, it's been such an outstanding organization for a long time, and I got involved with the Blue Jays back in 1981 when things weren't quite as positive as they are right now. And talking with Cito Gaston and Pat Gillick and Rance Mullinex and Dave Stieb, I can harken back to those days when we were losing 10-0, 15-2, games like that. But I've seen the club improve over the years, and now finally they've taken that final step in their world's champions. Sure, I have a little sense of pride, but I'm most proud of the way the city has taken the ball club in, the way that Pat Gillick and Cito Gaston have put this club together, and they finally got the job done down here on Atlanta's Fulton County field tonight. It was a tremendous moment for all of Canada and baseball in Canada and the Toronto Blue Jays.
Buck, have you seen Pat Gillick around and had a chance to talk to him even briefly, and how's he reacting? Is he pretty emotional?
You know, Paul, he's really less emotional than I thought he might be. I think it really hasn't sunk in yet. He was quite proud and quite reflective on everything that everybody has done with the organization. He complimented Cito Gaston for a fine job throughout the course of the season, right on into the World Series. He talked about the old players that have still been around with the ball club, the way Jimmy Key pitched so effectively in this World Series, winning 2 games. Rance Mullinex, what he has meant to the organization, and even Dave Stieb and the way that Stieb has been around. So I think it was interesting to see that Pat Gillick wasn't quite as emotional as we thought he might be.
And I guess a comrade in arms, in a sense, for you, Pat Borders, another guy who likes to don the tools of ignorance back at the plate. What a spectacular job he did for the Toronto Blue Jays during the playoffs. Did he surprise you what he was able to do with his bat? Because he wasn't known as a big hitter during the year. He was known more for his defensive prowess.
Well, you know, Paul, when Pat was coming up in a minor league organization with the Blue Jays, he was always thought to be an offensive player. He was going to be a guy that could get to the big leagues with his bat. They were having trouble finding a position for him, and they finally settled on catcher. This year, as you heard him say, the fact that he led all American League catchers with games played. Yeah, he had a tough time throwing in this series. Some of it was his problem, some of it was the pitcher's problem. But he came up big when he had to. Tonight he got Otis Nixon. He nailed him at second base. But the thing that I think helped the pitchers more than anything was the way that Pat Borders blocked the balls in the dirt. They always had confidence they could throw that tough breaking ball or that good split finger. And if they bounced it, Pat would keep it in front of him. I think he's really come into his own, and now he's got a World Series MVP trophy to take home and put up on the mantle.
Buck, to boil it down to maybe one moment throughout the course of the playoffs, or maybe even the season, you've covered this team all season long, maybe closer than anyone. Is there any one moment that you're going to remember where you sort of thought to yourself, yeah, I really think this team has the stuff to do it?
Well, you know, there are so many guys on this ball club that have contributed at different times. You think about Dave Winfield's grand slam home run in Seattle to bring the club back from a deficit. Then Robbie Alomar's home run in the playoffs. Then Devon White's great catch in center field. I tell you, on and on and on. They came up with clutch hits. Manny Lee had a big triple in the ALCS to put some runs up on the board. And then Pat Borders swings the hottest bat of all in the World Series and put a place in the history for himself. This has been a true team effort. Pitching staff has been outstanding. The bullpen was phenomenal in the World Series, and the offensive balance was 1 through 9 right on through the lineup.
All right, Buck, thanks a lot. You've had time to dry off. Now get back in the dressing room. We'll get back to Buck Martinez in a few moments and get more reaction from the Toronto Blue Jays dressing room where the celebration continues. We do have some reaction to go to from the Atlanta Braves dressing room. Victory has 1,000 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. And no doubt many of the Atlanta Braves feeling as though they have been orphaned at this stage, losing in the World Series 2 years in a row.
We hope to be back 5 more times, but you still can't come away with a good feeling when you lose in the World Series. When you get here, there's no, well, we were second best. I mean, that doesn't satisfy anybody's needs, and just as frustrated as we are, just as happy as they are. There's no in-between. You can't find a middle, and that's just the way that's what baseball's all about. I mean, winning and losing, somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose, and sometimes, I don't know if 10-1 would be better than the way we lost today, but we battled back and had a chance to win, and it was just a tremendous World Series, I feel.
Is this tougher than last year?
This is tougher than last year in the sense that we were expected to win, that we thought that we had the best team on the field, but
when you get a 7-game series, great pitching and clutch hitting always seems to win. Toronto had both. We felt like we were just as equally as good, and if we played another 7 games, it'd probably be just as close, and we may come out on top. But they definitely did the things they had to do, took advantage of really key moments.
The theme with Pittsburgh the last few years has always been, gosh, you know, we keep winning our division, but how many chances do you get? And now we're wondering, you know, yes,
Well,
you guys should be good, but there's no guarantee. Still got to play them.
Well, anytime you go to the World Series back-to-back nowadays, you're doing something right. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, if we were to finish second, we wouldn't even be worried about this. But we did win the division. We won the pennant again. We came back to the World Series, and as an athlete, there's nothing that makes you feel good about losing when you get to this point.
It's possible. Sorry, Sean. It's possible to appreciate the effort, even though there's an L attached to it here when we guys getting back off the mat.
Well, you got to. I mean, when you sit back and look how hard we played and how close, just like last year, how close we were. I mean, it doesn't really take the pain away, but you almost got to just sometimes tip your hat to the other team because they're doing the same thing. They're gutting it out, grinding it out to the last pitch, and you know, the toughest part is just losing. I have no hard feelings on the fact that Toronto won because they deserve just as much as we deserve if we were to win. But the hard thing is sitting back and saying, we lost. We feel like we should have won. We feel like we should have been up 3-2 instead of down 3-2, but we're not. And that's, you know, again, credit to them.
Buck Martinez down in Atlanta. He is in the midst of a huge celebration in the Toronto Blue Jays locker room. One of the players he had a chance to speak with, Manny Lee. Lee having a great series defensively for the Toronto Blue Jays. Let's go to Buck.
Hey, felicidades, Manny.
Oh, yeah.
Way to go, Manny.
Manny, you got to tell me you got to be the happiest guy in the world right now.
Oh, that's what I was looking for, you know, for many years, you know. And I was excited tonight. I can't say anything about it, you know.
Everybody on the team contributed throughout the whole
yeah,
series.
you know, we do the best, you know, in the field, do it, you know, trying to doing the work hard, you know, the whole year. So that's why we're winning today. We're the #1, United States and Canada too.
A couple of points to ponder for Atlanta Braves. The pitchers did do the job. The Toronto Blue Jays were hitting as a team 204 heading into the final game. So the Braves pitchers, for the most part, were able to keep them in check throughout the entire series. And also, for what it's worth to the Braves and their fans, every one of the 4 Toronto wins in this series coming by 1 single run. It was that close. We'll be on with you until 2:30 Eastern Time as the celebration continues. .88 and slow out of the gate. Toronto opened just 9-13 in the month of April, but the season opener was one to remember. The Jays defeated Kansas City 5-3 thanks to George Bell's 3 home runs, an opening day record. Dave Steve was 16-8. That doesn't do him justice. He had 3 one-hitters that year and lost 2 no-hitters in the 9th inning. Fred McGriff's first year as the everyday first baseman saw him clout 34 home runs. He drove in 82. And Kelly Gruber became the regular third baseman. He hit 16 home runs and had 81 RBIs. Dwayne Ward establishing himself as a bullpen force with 9 wins and 15 saves. The Jays were 11.5 games out of first at the All-Star break, but they rebounded by going 45-29 after that to finish in 3rd place, 2 games back of Boston.
You don't have to be a model to look good on the runway. To find true love. Or to light up the town. The Mazda MX-3 Presidia with the only optional V6 looks good on you.
The blues come from the heart. They've been around for years. And they've never forgotten where they're from.
It could be a spoonful of down.
Blues is brought to music. Labatt Blues brought to this country's beer. Honest and true, you bet it's blue.
Ms. Robertson.
Michael.
What's this I heard about you retiring?
Retiring, I wish. No, Michael, but I am taking a year off.
Oh, must be great.
Yeah, well, I've always dreamed about studying archaeology when I retired, but that's 10 years away. So I have decided I am doing it now.
You win the lottery?
Creative financing. Oh, I have enough money for my retirement, but I don't want to touch that. So about 8 months ago, I told the bank what I wanted to do, and we have worked it out.
Wow, that's great, but where are you going to go to school?
Jungle you. To dig in South America.
If you have a dream, there's a way to get it. Let us help. With personal banking, we have the tools to get you there. We're changing. We're CIBC. Get us working for you.
A year of changes. The first change came on May the 15th. The Jays were 12-24, and manager Jimmy Williams got the axe. Cito Gaston was appointed interim manager, and he got the full-time title on May the 31st. The next big change came on June the 5th, when the Jays moved to their new home, the beautiful Sky Dome. Toronto ended up losing the dome opener to the Brewers, but they played well enough to close the gap on the front runners to 4 games by the end of July. Early in August, the Jays changed their chemistry by acquiring Mookie Wilson and Lee Mazzilli from the Mets. Both players, especially Mookie, were spark plugs that helped the Jays win their second AL East title when they defeated Baltimore on the second last day of the season. From there, it was on to the American League Championship Series against a powerful Oakland team. The Jays were simply outmatched against an A's team that featured Ricky Henderson and Jose Canseco, who hit one of the most memorable home runs ever hit at the Sky Dome. It is not just Toronto's celebration, but Canada's celebration at this hour. It's about 20 after 2 Eastern Time in Toronto, where the celebration continues. Only about 20 after 12 in Edmonton. The night is young. The celebration continues, and let's go to Ken Chillivack.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. The night is young, but as you can see behind me, things starting to clear out at the Westin Hotel in downtown Edmonton. We've been here since the start of the game. Started off very quiet, and of course, as the game progressed, things got really crazy at the end. They had a party next door. Everyone was in this little bar here to celebrate the Blue Jays championship. Now people starting to drift on out. I was talking to some of the people in here about outside. There's actually people going down Jasper Avenue in downtown Edmonton, honking their horns, bumper to bumper, not like maybe when they'd win a Stanley Cup in this city, but having a good time, celebrating what is the first for Canada. And I think that's very important for these people. Everybody I talked to throughout this city in the last couple of weeks, we're talking the same thing. Let's go Blue Jays. They didn't care they're from Toronto, wherever. They were supporting this team. Whether it brings this country together, I guess we'll wait and see in the next few days, but we can just hope that that'll come out. It's a very important victory for obviously the Toronto Blue Jays, and maybe even more so for this country of Canada. Paul, back to you in Toronto. It's a great day here.
All right, thanks, Ken. Ken alluding to the Edmonton Oilers Stanley Cup championships, of course, and no real Wayne Gretzky on this Toronto team, although a number of tremendous stars on the club. We have lots more reaction coming from Atlanta. Buck Martinez and Rod Smith trolling down there for interviews. Let's go back down to Atlanta and hear some more post-game reaction.
Pat Gillick, this is the culmination of all your efforts. You have to be pretty pleased with what went on here tonight.
Well, yes, we are, I think, Buck. Pleased for the players, for everyone connected with the organization. I know, the guys that were here before, like yourself and Ernie Witt, Otto Velez, Mosby, Barfield, all the guys were here before. I know that, we didn't get it done in '85 and wish we had of, but we have a couple other, kicks at the cat, but finally we got it done here tonight. It wasn't easy. It looks like we played almost till 2 o'clock so we could turn the clock back to 1 o'clock.
I tell you, what about the depth of your bullpen? They keep marching out there and putting up zeros.
I was just hoping that we could get out of the 9th inning. I thought if we could get out of the 9th inning with a tie score, we would beat them because our bullpen is stronger than theirs. And we were fortunate enough to get out of the 9th inning and then go a couple innings and win it. So, again, the bullpen comes through.
You've seen Dave Winfield come through with just about all year long. What about the double he picked up there?
Well, I had a funny feeling that he was going to, I don't know what the pitch was. It looked like it may be a fastball on the inside. And I thought Charlie might be coming in trying to jam him, and Dave was ready and you know, it was a great hit to see, and I'm just glad because I know it was Dave's first extra base hit in World Series competition.
It looked like Cito saw everything in slow motion. He was making the pitching moves. He got the pinch hitters up there when he was right on, and he got the matchups he liked throughout the whole series.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you know, I think that Cito did a great job. And as far as, you know, National American League thing, he used David Wells, he used Stottlemyre, he used Timlin, he used Eichhorn, Henke Ward, the whole bullpen. And as I say, we still had pinch hitters left, and I think probably when Hunter hit, they were probably down their last man with Lopez, the catcher.
Great win. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Buck.
You heard Pat make reference to Dave Winfield and the outstanding play he put together. Maybe he was close to sort of being a Wayne Gretzky-type leader, as Gretzky was at the Oilers, being that kind of a leader with the Toronto Blue Jays. Believe it or not, in his long and storied career, Dave Winfield only in postseason play for the second time. The last time was all the way back in 1981, so in many ways, he was saying before this all started, he was a rookie to postseason play. It had been such a long time. The celebration continues out in the street. Here's Vic Rauter.
Well, Paul, the party, as you can tell, has continued very loud and strong down here on Yonge Street. They say farther down, away from us, towards the Eaton Center, they are shoulder to shoulder. And in fact, we've heard of a couple of incidents of people getting hurt, people getting just a little carried away, climbing up trees to wave Blue Jay banners and finding that the way down is a little more difficult. But for the most part, this party has gone very, very well, and that's what the police expected. And they also expect it to carry on for several more hours yet to maybe sunup. And don't forget, with the clocks going back, that means an extra hour to party. Paul?
Yeah, I guess tonight's the night you want to have that really expensive car parked right down in the middle of downtown Toronto. No, wouldn't be that kind of night, not at all. Just some numbers on Dave Winfield, by the way. I was talking about him a few moments ago. He ended up going 5 for 22 in the series. He went 1 for 5 tonight, and of course, you will no doubt remember that one huge hit. Another veteran and a big part of this Toronto Blue Jays team, certainly on the bench and keeping emotions up, Rance Mullenix. He is standing by as we go back to Atlanta.
Rance, it's been a long time. You've been waiting for this a long time. I know this still means a lot, even though you didn't have a chance to participate an awful lot. You put in a lot of good years with this ball club, and this has to be satisfying for you.
Well, thank you. It is. It's very satisfying. You know, this is what it's all about. This is what you play for. And, you know, I just feel very fortunate to have been associated with this club. How you doing now? For a long, long time, and to end up playing on a world championship team, it's just fabulous. And I'd like to take the opportunity to say to all the fans throughout all of Canada and the city of Toronto that it's great. We're glad to bring a world championship home to you. Very deserving. And I know you're having a great time back in Canada tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow. We're looking forward to flying back up there and seeing all our fans. Thanks for the support. I feel very fortunate to have been a part of this, and enjoy it. Have a great time. You deserve it.
Rance Mullenix's biggest year at the Blue Jays was 1984. He hit .324 that year. He has contributed a lot to the organization over the years. The celebration continues in Toronto and across Canada as they celebrate the first Canadian-based World Series champions. We'll be back after this. 1990, a year when good enough wasn't good enough. The Jays spent time in first place in every month of the season except August, before eventually settling for second spot, 2 games behind Boston. Dave Stieb had another superlative season, going 18-6 with a 2.93 earned run average. His greatest moment that year came on September the 2nd in Cleveland when he finally pitched that elusive no-hitter, the first and only no-hitter in franchise history. Kelly Gruber had his best season, hitting 31 home runs, driving in 118, and appearing in the All-Star game. He also received a Golden Glove Award. 1990 also saw John Olerud become just the 16th player since the start of the amateur draft to make his pro debut at the major league level.
beginning of time, man has been mystified by power and beauty, intrigued by possibilities, searching for the perfect balance between the two. With its precision handling, bold, dramatic look, and available V6 power, the new MX-6 Mystère from Mazda clearly proves the search is over.
The blues come from the heart. They've been around for years. And they've never forgotten where they're from. For all the blues has brought to music, Labatt Blues brought to this country's beer. Honest and true, you bet it's blue.
For only 83 cents a day, you can rescue a child from the death grip of poverty. Please call Feed the Children now and say you'll become a sponsor.
Baseball Tonight, 16 Years to Glory, brought to you by Labatt Blue. Honest and true, you bet it's blue. By Diet Pepsi, you've got the right one, baby, By CIBC, Bank of the World Champions. And by Mazda, it just feels right.
(1991), and changes were needed, so the Jays' brain trust decided, so changes were made in a big way. The biggest trade in team history, sending mainstays Fred McGriff and Tony Fernandez to San Diego for slugger Joe Carter and second baseman Robbie Alomar. They also acquired center fielder Devon White from the Angels. And all three quickly became fan favorites at the Skydome. Carter continued to produce at the plate with 33 home runs and 108 RBIs. White and Alomar earned Gold Gloves while providing sparks at the top of the order. The two combined for 129 RBIs, 86 stolen bases, 198 runs scored. An injury to Dave Steve in late May forced the Jays to call up Juan Guzman from Syracuse. He responded with a team record 10 straight wins and a 2.99 earned run average. The Jays would eventually win the East that year with a dramatic ninth-inning rally against California that sounded like this.
Winning run on third. Base hit. Blue Jays win the East. Let the celebration begin.
Taking that momentum into the ALCS, the Jays split the first two games against the Twins in Minnesota, but the Twins came back to sweep three at the Skydome. The Blue Jays' dream of a World Series put on hold for one more year. And back to Atlanta now live for some final thoughts from Buck Martinez, who's covered this team for the last few years and certainly all season long. And Buck, if you could maybe just reminisce a little bit, does it really seem like that long ago that this team was taking its first step into championship series play in 1985?
No, it doesn't, Paul, and it's interesting to compare this team with other organizations that have been in the league for a lot longer and the expansion teams that came in with Toronto. They have done a marvelous job of developing an organization, marketing the product, and making sure they keep bringing in character-type people. You talked about the big trade, Tony Fernandez, Fred McGriff, two all-star players, but you brought in Robbie Alomar and Joe Carter. Basically, that may have been the turning point in this organization. They have always been capable of winning, but it was that last little ingredient of character that continued in the deals in 1992 with Dave Winfield and Jack Morris, and then finally David Cohn. So give credit to Pat Gillick, give credit to Cito Gaston. They have put in a lot of long, hard hours starting in spring training right on through the season, and tonight they can now celebrate and enjoy and relish the fact that they're the world's champions.
All right, Buck, and the question is, how much will the character of this team change next year? Some very big decisions to be made in terms of personnel for this team in the next few days, as a matter of fact.
Well, that's right. They've got to make some tough decisions in the next couple of days. First of all, with Maldonado and Dave Winfield, whether or not they extend them arbitration or whether or not they sign them to multi-year deals. They have the option, but they have to decide within 48 hours. Then, of course, Dave, Steve, and Mark Eichhorn, 5 days they have until they decide about the status of their contract. Then you have all of the free agents, and there's going to be an awful lot of meetings between now and the time of the expansion draft. Naturally, the exposure of this ball club throughout postseason, right on into the World Series, has brought a lot of attention to a lot of people. So what's going to happen right now is the fact that this organization is at the pinnacle of their success, and a lot of people are going to be looking at all the talent they have in that expansion draft.
All right, Buck, and after a pinnacle always comes a drop-off, if you want to follow the laws of physics, I guess. How realistic is it, do you think, that this team can stay together and can go on perhaps to pursue another championship?
Well, it'll be interesting to see if the guys like Tom Henke and Jimmy Key and Maldonado and Winfield, Joe Carter, if they'll all come back. There are free agents out there. There are guys that have to be signed. It'll be interesting to see how emotional they will be when they think about the fact that they won a World Championship in 1992. Will that have an impact on their deciding to come back to Toronto? You know what the history of this organization has been. They always strive to win. They're never satisfied, and I believe that it's going to be that same attitude. You remember, this thing starts all over again in just 4 months. Blue Jays have a lot of decisions to make, but for the time being, they're going to sit back and toast the champagne and think about being the reigning world champions.
All right, Buck, thanks a lot, and enjoy the celebration. So
All
the
right,
Toronto
Paul.
Blue Jays, 1992 World Series champions. It has been said that time passes over us and casts its shadow. That shadow cast back to 1985. Has it really been all that long since they stepped into postseason play for the first time, took another whack at it in 1989, and again in 1991? Yes, I guess time really has passed pretty quickly when you look back on it, and the progression of this team has been incredible. But when you boil it right down, the Toronto Blue Jays finally managing to grasp something that was never all that far out of their reach. Good night.
It's a matter of pride or a matter of destiny. It's talent and skill or it's just God's will. Doesn't matter at all to me. 'Cause I see it so clear. It's undeniably near. I feel the best I can be. I've got it coming to me. There's a moment in time when I find myself on top. There's a moment in time when it feels like time has stopped. For the rest of my life, I'll be living in history. That moment in time can't be taken away from me. It's a burning inside, just the way it's supposed